Big moves are coming, guys, and it's going to happen quickly when it does appear. Let me explain in today's video my honest path on what will XRP do in the near future, which path it will take. Okay, I think it's going to be bullish and bearish at the same exact time, and I'm going to add the data behind it as well from Chad. 14 straight days of XRP net outflows, and the price is still holding $2.20. Just reread that again, guys. 14 days of XRP net outflows, and the price is still holding $2.20. That means people are selling. That means money is fleeing out of this XRP asset. But the interesting part is XRP is still holding this level. That's odd, right? The last time it went 14 days on outflows, the price then reversed and went from $2.05 to $3.29 over 18 days, which was, I think, this period right here. Okay, money started to come back in heavy. It seemed as, right? So could that be a repeat of what's about to happen? Now look what's happening to XRP versus Bitcoin pairing, guys. Okay, so something interesting is taking place. But XRP, I feel like, needs to make a move quickly. If it doesn't, it's going to literally die. So let's go to the lower time frames first and look at this. So 2260, right? 2260 is right here, guys. It's literally right here. Look how close it got to it. But every time it keeps coming back to that level, it gets bought up, right? This is XRP versus Bitcoin pairing. So if this pumps, it means the money is flowing from Bitcoin to XRP, or XRP is just outperforming Bitcoin. Right, so if Bitcoin dumps, XRP is gonna dump less if this is moving higher, or if Bitcoin pumps and this is still moving higher, XRP pumps harder, right? So it's still being defended. This level is still being defended, which is crazy to think about, right? And I'm starting to see some bullish signs happening. So the hourly looks bullish, guys. The 4 hourly just got confirmed. With hidden bullish divergences. The 12 hourly got triggered. It's going to get confirmed in 8 hours, right? If it's still around this price, which is very bullish, guys, because bullish things. And then if that gets confirmed, it's going to snowball into this a time frame, which is a daily, right? And it's just going to snowball, and it's going to have a great move. The only issue here is Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin on the daily just got a confirmed bearish divergence, which is a top signal. On the 12 hourly as well, guys, and on the 4 hourly, right? All bear signs. So what I'm saying is XRP needs to move quickly now. Okay, it literally needs to move quickly, or it's gonna fall to hell, in my opinion. But let me tell you guys what I think will happen with XRP, and it's all due to this liquidity heat map. I feel like XRP will move up. Right, I don't know if it's going to be today, tomorrow, or next week, or a month from now. But in my honest opinion, it's going to move down as well. Right? Will it go down first, then up, and then down? But here's my thing, guys. There's so much liquidity. When XRP was back at this level, by the way, when XRP was at these levels, I told myself when XRP is above $2, do not get fooled, because there's so much liquidity building up at these lows. Right, the market makers aren't going to fool me, guys, and I do believe one day it's going to come back to these lows. I do believe that, right? And not to mention, I think they're going to take those lows as well due to Bitcoin falling, right? So we're at the crossroads right now, guys. The only issue I'm having right now is, are they going to pump it first, dump it? So there's a couple different paths I have in mind. So first they dump it, pump it, then dump it, right, like that. Or will they dump it first, then pump it, then dump it, right? So which path will they take here? I'm not quite sure, though. This chart can kind of maybe front run it, since there are bullish signs emerging, right? The only thing is it needs to hold up, right? It needs to hold up, but it's getting too close. It's getting so close for it to be somewhat invalidated, right? Yeah, I honestly think, though, overall, even if XRP does pump, right? If it does pump, it's gonna dump. I feel like, guys, I'm not losing sight of this bearish event on the horizon, in my opinion. The reason before euphoria truly sets in, such as XRP going to double digits, Bitcoin heading to $500 to $1 million, is what happened previously in 2020. And back then, they got you out before it begun. Okay? Remember the saying, we want you out before it begins? That actually happened back in 2020. Right? They're about to repeat it, in my opinion, because due to a black swan event, and this was a nail in the head that I wanted to see, and it just happened. CNBC's Jim Cramer says there won't be a United States recession. Remember, whatever he says, the opposite is like 90% of times occurs. So he's saying there will not be a recession, a United States recession, to be exact, which means there will be, if not something honestly worse, right? And that ties to XRP falling. Now, let's say there is a United States recession. What are the price targets for XRP that can bottom out at? I'm seeing $1.30 here, okay, 85 cents here, and then last but not least 60 cents. Right? So one of these areas will be the bottom for XRP. I have this very strong feeling. Yes, that's not going to happen today, right? The liquidity from the top side probably still needs to get taken out, and then the bottom side as well, to trick everyone before making this move, I feel like. Right? But when it finally does, either the bottom will be here, which is kind of, I think, unlikely. I think more so this 85 cent level is quite a good level. But if somehow, even if there's a wick, guys, you guys can buy at 60 cents ish, or even long around this level, it's going to be a generational buy, in my honest opinion. But XRP will not fall, and it will not dump to those levels until this appears, a black swan, which will tie into an United States recession, which will tie into inflation falling, which will then tie into the Federal Reserve stepping in very quickly, and right after, it's going to be a V bottom such as this, guys. Okay, let's go back in time, back to 2020. I'm on the 4-hour. Let's go switch to the daily. It's going to be like this. When it happens, it's going to be like this. This area, this was a 2020 event. Everyone sold, but they reversed the prices fast, and it never came back down there. Took all this liquidity. Look at that, all that liquidity, right? So that's what I'm thinking at this point, guys. If we do see a pump for XRP, I feel like it's going to be a dead cat bounce and a dump. Because of this, quote, America may just be weeks away from a major economic shock, per The Economist. They're stating this, not me, right? But it's odd because it ties into our theory that liquidity is being formed on towards the lower side, and XRP will take it all, right? I know it's kind of like crazy to say, guys, and I know like 99% of people in the XRP community, not to mention crypto community as a whole, are bullish, but I'm kind of cautious right here, right? I'm like cautious, and I'm not gonna get fooled, guys. That's the one thing I will not do, right? When we're talking about money here, so yeah, we'll see what happens, but that's my honest truth. But this is a major signal. Justin, Warren Buffett to step down as Berkshire Hathaway CEO by end of year. If that doesn't tell us that the end is near, then I don't know what else will. He's stepping down before the world collapses. Think about that. The WEF previous CEO stepped down as well. Why? And then Pope just left as well, guys. Right? Has passed on. Rest in peace. Look at that. The old guard is basically leaving while a new guard steps in. But not only that, I actually have, I feel like, enough proof for a major black swan to be around the corner. And it all comes to this chart. There's two charts, this chart and the Bitcoin dominance chart. This is going to be crazy, okay? You ready? I'm very excited for this now. This is the USDT.dominance chart. This chart says, it's a stablecoin chart, guys, right? And it's a chart of Tether. And basically, the higher this goes, money is being fleeing from different assets from different cryptos into this stablecoin, which is Tether, right? Which then it will shoot up, guys. Now, the shorter term, anything can happen. Okay, anything can happen. Here's why I think cryptos will dump and XRP will see lower prices at some point in time, right? Remember, short term, I think a pump because there's some bullish signs emerging for XRP. Long term, not long term, but like a month, 2 months from now, I think a dump. Here's why. Because of this. Do you guys not see something? Liquidity being formed here and here. I think what's going to happen, guys, is this. So I don't know what's going to happen in the short term, right? But at some point, I do believe it's going to pump, take this liquidity around the 7% region, right? And then it's going to die, literally. Why? Because the Fed will start printing 20 to 30 trillion when this appears, okay? And we're off to the races. Just because they do not want you to get rich before it begins. For this chart, guys, and they're like, alt season will begin because when this chart dumps, that's when alts fly. Here's what I think will happen. I think at some point, this chart will go above this region to take this liquidity. And then it will top. It will be around 75% right here. Right? So at some point, it will go like this and then top and literally then die. Right? Which will tie into alt season. Right? And that's the massive alt season. The reason being is because all this liquidity is being formed below. Right? When this thing does take that rest in peace path, it's gonna die. But first, I feel like Bitcoin will still be in the lead, guys, and then it's gonna fall. Right. So we'll see. I mean, there's too many different ideas here, but I feel like all this is matching up, especially this, with a recession. But XRP needs to move fast, guys. If it doesn't, it's gonna fall because Bitcoin is gonna dump due to those bearish signs. Right. We'll see what happens. I mean, we're at the crossroads right now. Things need to start waking up. No, financial advice. What is that? So face, see ya.